Hello and welcome back to another video. Today we are going to be painting our Grimwrath Berzerker for our Fyreslayer's army. I know what you're saying. You're saying, Fyreslayer's army now? Really? And yeah. So the thing is that, well, here, let's get started. Let's get our first color and then I can start rambling. Gilliman's flesh. We're gonna start with all the skin. So we had the Dream Army series, and that was a few videos, and there has been none since then. So I mean, I think that it is pretty obvious at this point that we're not going to continue with that project. The reason being is because it's very expensive to kind of do what I wanted to do, and the stock for Games Workshop is just not there. You know, it would take a long time for me to just accumulate all the stuff that I needed for the army, and you know, I really was interested in playing Fyreslayers anyway. So, and like I said, I wasn't really down for like their aesthetic, but I think I've found a middle ground, like a way for me to like it, and you'll kind of see as we keep going here what my idea is. It kind of fits into the theme of some of my other armies that I have, and you know, it's just more models to paint, so that's always a good thing for me. And I was able to, I don't know if I ever had any of my Cadron Overlord army painted on here. I'm sure I have, I just can't think of it off the top of my head, but I sold that army. I like to have, I like to have one of each faction, so I needed an order faction, and Fyreslayers came up on the list of what I wanted. So we'll slowly start building into these guys and building this army. I was also interested in Beasts of Chaos, just because I like the idea that there's just like a bunch of giant like bulls and stuff that are bad guys that just kill people. But I already have a Chaos army, as you guys are aware, the Skaven, so I don't really want to get rid of those guys just yet. So we are going with Fyreslayers. And we're going to try to be using probably a lot of contrasts. It's a faster way. I like how the colors kind of come out on these guys, so we're gonna go with it. So that's all for the skin portion of them. Now we can go on to, I think we're gonna go on to the furs, maybe, like the belts. Yeah, we'll go to the belt. So for the belt, we're gonna use the Gorgunta fur contrast paint, and we'll see how this looks. This is actually like serving as like a test also to see how this goes and how the colors look all together. So I'll put this Gorgunta fur down on here. And we'll be coloring in that stuff later, but you know, we're just doing our base coat right now because contrast paints take a while to dry, so there'll definitely be a cut in the middle of this video for us to dry everything off, for everything to be dry before we move on. So what we want is his little flaps to be like a fur. I think usually they would probably be like a metal or something. I mean, the belt is still going to be metallic, so we'll do those in our regular metallic colors. But for the bulk of it, we're going to do in these browns. Okay, so that takes care of that. I just want to soak up some of this just so that's not all crazy right there. Okay. Now for the beard. Should we do the beard right now? Yeah, we'll get the beard right now. So for the beard, we're gonna go with, it's somewhere, this guy? Yes. Her Yandin Yellow contrast. So the beard and all like the feathers and or whatever, the mohawks on them, they're gonna be like a yellow, like blondie color. Leave a comment if you know where I'm going with this color scheme, and we'll see if you're right by the end. Is that you, babe? Okay, I was making sure the cat wasn't stomping around. Oops. So let's get this all painted. And with contrast, you have to be a little bit more smooth and clear with where you're putting the paints. That way, you know, you don't want to go on to the other spots, especially if you are using contrast paints on for the whole thing, because then you'll have to hit it with a white again to be able for the contrast to show up. Also, we did the zenithal highlight on him, so we primered him black first, and then primed him like at an angle with a white primer, so that the shadows are all built into him too. So that's gonna help sell this scheme a little bit more, so we have more shadows and variations in him than just like plain flat colors like I usually paint. And these are going to be metallic, so it's okay if we hit these little spots right here. But you know, still, you know, this is good practice, right? So just try your best to be as accurate as you can be. These guys are going to be perfect to fight the Night Haunt army that I have. If you know what I mean. And you're like, what? What is this guy talking about? I've never seen any of your videos before. Okay, there's our yellow. Now for these wrist guards, we're gonna go with this Gryph-hound orange contrast paint. You guys will be nice and orange. I want like cool 80s vibes with this army. And we'll go through and get all those runes later, like on the armor. Maybe we should do those metallics with more orange, maybe? I don't know. We'll see, we'll see, we'll see. Okay, so that's the orange. Now we're gonna take, so this is gonna be like a couple stages right here. So we're gonna get our Blood Angel's Red contrast paint for some parts of the axe, and then some little, I think he has a little symbol on his head. Oh, that's gonna be difficult. Maybe we'll ignore the symbol on his head for now. But we want the axe. It's not gonna be red, but the inside pattern will be. So I just want to get that coated right now so it has time to dry before we finish it with the rest of the colors that we're going for here. So it's okay if we just get it kind of all over it. Doesn't need to be pretty. Okay. So now switch to regular paints, and we're gonna go with our medium sea gray. Good old faithful. And we're gonna get his armor bits. So we're gonna get this dragon that's on his head here. And it's like super watery because the humidity here is the worst thing ever right now. Oop, there's a spot that we missed with the yellow. We'll have to go back. Get that in a second. Remind me, guys. Remind me. This is your job. That's what I pay you for. And the gray is going to be on the axe and stuff too. Or I'll probably go metallic, the gunmetal color, just to break those up some more, but we'll see. And we'll hit this with a wash to bring out all these extra details and stuff in here, because we don't want to just leave it. We don't want it to be flat, we want it to be nice and cool. Let's get the back ends here. Even though, like, chances are no one will ever see that, but we'll know. Except to get the back of his helmet here without ruining the rest of this model. So we'll do that, and none of those really. No, just making sure, just double checking where our paint is and that it's where we want all of it to be right now. Let's go back to our yellow really quick and get that little spot on his beard that we missed. This little guy right here. Okay, now we'll go to our gunmetal colors for the majority of the metallics here. So gunmetal, boop. My palette is a mess, but that's okay. So I don't know what this thing is on his hip. If it's like a chicken that he can eat or what. Okay, there's little like plates down there. We'll get these little strap thingies, these little tubes on his beard. Don't know the technical term for them. You got some contrast in there, so you just gotta, we'll probably have to do another coat on there once the contrast dries to get that all settled together. And get the rings here that they're attaching to the belts, just to make sure. I'm gonna get the handles of my weapons with this color, as well as the blade here. I'm still not 100% sure what that is, but whatever. Then we'll go here. We'll get the handle here. Might be too much gray on brass right here, so I might change that color later. But we'll see when we get there. Get this side. So well, make sure we're getting all the way around there. And while we're here, we gotta notice some specks here that we didn't get. Oop. I also noticed some brown that we didn't get on the back here. So we gotta get that. It's gonna be a little tricky. There we go. And then we go on to our brassy brass, which we'll have to do again to get all the runes on their skin and stuff to paint it, but it has to wait till the thing's dry. So we're just doing our bases still. So let's get our brassy brass, and we'll get all the little coins and stuff that are at the end, as well as like the ends of all our weapons. And I'm noticing more things that I missed. There's like the whole side of his foot on this side that I missed with the skin tone, so we'll have to go back to that. So we'll go here. Painting that, and then this whole guy right here. As well as this. And this. keys. And whatever this thing is on the side here is chicken or something. It's like a charm, it looks like. He's calling it a chicken because I don't know. And then here's the key. We'll get the key that's right next to it. The challenge here for us is to make sure we get rid of all the extra white paint, because we just don't want that to just show up on our guy here. So we got the axe here too. We got the little top buckle piece. Okay, and just kind of move some paint around in there. Make sure we're covering areas and get some around here to make sure we got those. Okay, and then really quick we'll go back to the flesh color to get that side of the foot that we missed. And then we'll let this guy sit and dry for a bit before we move on to the next parts. So we haven't figured it out yet. It's He-Man. We're doing He-Man color scheme. So I'll be able to match my Skeletor Night Haunt people. So this is where we're at right now. I think the brown is looking really close to the skin tone, so we might want to change that out, especially since it's like darker down there, because of the spray, how we do it. Because you can see a difference here on the back. But so we'll go through all these like ruins and stuff with the brass when we come back. We'll wash the headpiece and pick out any details there, do some red details on there, finish the axe, and we'll be able to just call him done. So yeah, we'll be back in a bit. Oh no, hold on. I see some white here on the helmet. All right, cool. Alright, so we'll be back in a bit and we'll finish the rest of him. See you in a bit. And we're back. So it's had enough time to dry. So I think now we can start hitting some areas that we couldn't before. So we're going to start with our Nuln Oil on the gray, because that's what color, let me see, I need a brush that's not great. I'm almost out of this stuff, and I have some in the mail, but it's not coming till the end of the month, so that sucks. So we're gonna go a little heavy in here to kind of go with the contrast paints. So we're really getting those edges in there. Just making sure it's not falling into our skin tone. Okay. So that's that part. So while that's drying, we're still going to be using this later though. Oops. We're going to get into some of the other stuff. So let's get our medium sea gray again. We'll be able, actually, let's not. Let's do the gunmetal color. I was gonna go with the gray, but I think the metallics are better. And we're gonna finish out this axe. And I think what we're gonna do here is we're gonna try to get only like the inward pattern. So this is gonna suck. Doesn't have to be perfect though. And my cat's sticking his hand under the table, under the door. That's great. So let's just go for that. There. Now we gotta get the other side of it. It's okay if it's not perfect, because I mean the lines are there and you can kind of get it from the paint. Let's just do the same thing on this side. I think we'll do the dragon actually this color too. I think that will make it less red, because I didn't want a ton of red in here. I just want some. So that works for me. Let's go back to this side now. Let's get this guy. And we're just lightly touching our brush to the surface here. We're not digging it in or anything like that. So it just basically is just touching the top of this piece. Then I had like a long thought with my wife trying to figure out like what color do we paint the runes on them, because gold would be too close to the skin tone. That's what we were thinking. So I think we have a suitable plan, and we're gonna go with the same blue that we use on our Skeletor miniatures to kind of be like, do like a little Lord of the Rings, like their Uru gold glows when they're near Skeletor. So, you know, let's have some fun with it. So I'll use this deep sky blue. It's a nice magical blue color. I like it. And we need a little teeny brush, little teeny guy, because these little runes are really small. So we'll start with the one on his back. And we're doing the same thing we were doing with the axe. We're just trying to barely touch it. And I think too, like, you know, color theory wise, having a cool color on here will help the rest of it stand out, because all the rest of it is pretty warm. So I mean, if you want to think into color theory and stuff like that when you're doing your models, that can help you out of your get unstuck if you're feeling stuck. Now the question is that a ruin, or is that part of the sprue? When I cut it, I'll just do that on it, and that way we don't know. So let's get these guys nice and painted. leave the ones on the armor, the color that they are, because they're kind of like, we'll say they're built into the armor. But for the ones on the skin, well, they had to have been put in somehow, right? So it's kind of how we're going at this anyway. Whatever helps you sleep at night, right? It's a nice icy blue. I don't know if it's gonna give like a heavy Viking vibe off of everything. But I think overall this is the right decision to make. So that's all the runes. And kind of while we're on the topic of runes, we have that one that's on his forehead here that I want to be red, but since our red is a contrast paint, it's not going to go over that really well. So we're going to use a red. We'll use our scarlet color from Vallejo to get that. The red's going to be off from what the blood red was that we used, but you'll have more control, allegedly, if you have a steady hand. But you know, for my videos, I do not. So we're just going to try our best here to get this guy. And there we have it. We were able to get that on there without screwing it up too bad. I think what we'll do too is we'll do this one. So that little buckle there. Do that red. Okay, now let's do the washes for everything else while stuff is drying. So we'll get the Reikland Flesh Shade for our golds. So we'll get it in here, on here. This will make our golds really pop. Get this chicken. Get the back, make sure you get the back sides of these things too. Get it right here. And I had some ideas for the blue later too for some other models, so I think putting it into the ruins was a good idea. Okay, so there's that. And then we want our Agrax. Nope, that's not it. We want our Agrax Earthshade for the metallics. The metallic silvers here, so we'll get that one. Get that, and we'll get the staff here. That's gonna make it not as close to the color that's on the helmet too, so that'll help us out. Get the little metal pieces in there that we had. You can also wash the fur that we had on him. Get up here, get the back of this. Should we get that? Get the ones in here. Get right here. I don't need a ton on here. To get this piece right here. gonna make sure we also get the back the best we can. And then we can kind of go over this. Let's go over that. Okay. Oh, we had the brown back here too. Let's just kind of get that to help darken that out. Okay, so now we let all of that dry. Actually, it's probably dry because we want to dry brush the helmet now. Just want to get some other colors in there. Really kind of sell it up some more. So we're going to use this Ghost Gray. It's a nice light gray color. It's like has a bluish tone to it. It's going to add to our things. Let me see if I have a old shitty brush. Okay, and then we can take this to that. This is a heavy, like a heavier dry brush, but it's giving us some good variety in our gray here, which is what we wanted because we don't want it to just be like flat gray. And I think that's going to do it for our, let me get some gray just to paint the little rockies on, his tactical rock. I think that's going to do it for our video. Like, comment, subscribe. Stick around for the turnaround. And of course, we have new videos every Wednesday. And we'll see you guys on, well, you know what, hold on. You know what, hold on, guys. We need to put some dots in these eyes here on the headpiece. I think that'll help it a little bit. So let's put green in there. We gotta put what would do something I'm painting without Escorpina green in it, right? Like, this is part of what I do. It just comes with the territory. So just get a little bit on our little brush here. And then get it in those little eyes over there. There we go. Yeah, that's how we're going to be painting our Fyreslayers for our Age of Sigmar army. And yeah, stick around for the turnaround, and we'll see you next Wednesday.